There was once a young man named Elias, living in a small town where dreams seemed to whisper and vanish before they could take flight. From the outside, life looked ordinary, even comforting. He had a home, friends, and work. But inside him, a quiet storm raged. He carried a yearning that neither his routines nor the words of those around him could soothe. Every morning he would wake with the same thought lingering in his mind. I want more. I want to be more. But what if I fail? That question clung to him like a shadow. It made his heart heavy and his steps uncertain. Elias had always admired those who dared to dream. He would watch travelers return with tales of courage and triumph, people who had risked comfort and certainty for the unknown, and he felt both inspired and terrified. Deep down, he understood that the difference between their stories and his was not luck or talent, it was belief. They had chosen to believe in themselves, while he had chosen to let doubt govern his every decision. One evening, while walking along the quiet riverbank, Elias noticed a small boat stranded on the shore. Its paint was chipped and its ropes frayed, yet it remained steady, waiting for someone to guide it back into the water. It struck him as a reflection of his own life. He realized that he was like that boat, capable of gliding across the vast river of possibilities, but anchored by fear and indecision. At that moment, he made a choice, a single, powerful decision. I will believe in myself, no matter how uncertain the journey. The choice seemed simple, but its weight was monumental. For years he had waited for external validation, for a sign from the world that he was worthy. Now he understood that the only validation that truly mattered was his own. Self-belief, he realized, was not about arrogance or certainty. It was about trusting that even in failure, he had the power to rise again. The next morning, Elias began to take small steps toward the life he imagined. He applied for a position in a company far from his hometown, a place that demanded skill, resilience, and courage he had yet to prove to himself. Every rejection letter that followed felt like a blow, but instead of retreating, he told himself, "Each no is not a sign of my unworthiness. It is a test of my persistence." And with every attempt, he grew stronger, more confident, more certain that the only way to fail was to stop trying. As days turned into weeks, he began to notice a transformation. His thoughts, once clouded by fear, started to clear. Doubt, though it never vanished entirely, became less commanding. He discovered a profound truth. The mind, when nurtured by belief, becomes a tool of extraordinary power. Ideas flowed more freely, creativity sparked, and solutions appeared where before there had only been obstacles. But the true test came one cold, rainy evening. He had finally received an opportunity to interview for a position that could change his life. Standing outside the building, he felt the familiar pull of fear. His old doubts whispered, "What if you're not good enough? What if you embarrass yourself?" Yet, he remembered the boat, the riverbank, the decision he had made. He drew a deep breath and whispered to himself, "I am ready. I believe in myself." That belief carried him through the doors, through the questions, through every moment of uncertainty, until finally he heard the words he had been waiting for. "You got the job." Elias could hardly believe it. The joy he felt was not merely about the position, it was about the realization that belief had transformed him. It had taken him from a state of passive longing to active creation. It had shown him that one choice, one conscious decision to trust oneself, could ripple across every aspect of life. Yet his journey did not end there. Belief, he learned, is not a one-time decision. It is a practice, a daily commitment. There would be setbacks, moments of doubt, people who would question him or diminish his efforts. But he now carried a reservoir of inner strength, a lighthouse in the storms of uncertainty. He discovered that self-belief is contagious. As he trusted himself, Others began to see his potential too. Doors that had once been invisible appeared. Opportunities that had seemed distant now emerged within reach. The world, it seemed, responded to the belief he held. Through this journey, Elias also realized the deeper lesson that self-belief is not about denying reality. It is not about ignoring limitations or pretending life is easy. It is about recognizing your potential, embracing your challenges, and persisting despite them. It is about understanding that fear is natural, but cannot be allowed to dictate the story of your life. Each time he faced doubt, he treated it as a companion, not an enemy, and chose to move forward anyway. One afternoon, months later, Elias returned to the riverbank where it all began. The boat still rested on the shore, quiet and patient. He ran his hands along its worn edges and smiled, feeling gratitude for the metaphor that had guided him. In that moment, he understood that self-belief was not just a tool for achievement, it was a path to freedom. It freed him from the chains of indecision, from the paralysis of fear, from the habit of waiting for permission to live fully. It was a declaration that his life belonged to him, and he had the power to shape it. Elias began to share his story, not as a boast, but as a beacon. He spoke to friends, strangers, and eventually larger audiences about the simple yet profound truth. One choice can change everything, and that choice is the choice to believe in yourself. He encouraged others to confront their doubts, to take steps, however small, toward the life they imagined. He reminded them that greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It emerges when ordinary people dare to trust their own potential. The philosophy he embraced was simple. The universe responds to belief. When you commit to your vision, when you trust your instincts, when you honor your potential, doors open, people align, and opportunities manifest in ways you could not foresee. But it all begins within. The power is not in luck, external circumstances, or timing. It is in the unwavering confidence that you are capable of rising above, creating, and transforming. Through this narrative, Elias discovered another truth: life's challenges are not obstacles to your dreams. They are the proving ground of your belief. Every setback, every failure, every harsh word or skeptical gaze is a chance to fortify your trust in yourself. He learned to embrace discomfort, knowing it was the signal that he was growing. Fear became a compass rather than a cage, guiding him to areas where belief was needed most. The most profound moment came when Elias realized that belief is not selfish. By believing in himself, he inspired others to believe in themselves. People around him began to act boldly, to pursue dreams long neglected, to shed the weight of doubt. He saw firsthand that the ripple effect of one person's courage and self-trust could transform communities, inspire generations, and alter the course of countless lives. Belief, he understood, is both deeply personal and profoundly communal. And so, Elias lived a life shaped not by circumstance, but by conscious choice. He faced difficulties with resilience, failures with grace, and triumphs with humility. He understood that the journey of self-belief is ongoing, but it is also endlessly rewarding. With every step, he confirmed the truth he had discovered on that quiet riverbank, that one choice, simply choosing to believe in yourself, can change everything. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful lesson of all. Life will present challenges, doubts, and fears. There will be moments when the world seems too heavy, when the path ahead appears impossible. But if you carry within you the unwavering belief in your own potential, you hold the key to transformation. Every decision, every action, every effort becomes infused with purpose. Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a stepping stone, and ultimately, you become unstoppable. So take a moment now. Ask yourself, what choice can I make today that will change everything? Trust that your answer lies not in waiting, not in perfection, not in the approval of others, but within your own heart. Step forward, believe, commit, and watch as your life unfolds in ways you never imagined possible. The power is yours, and it begins with a single courageous decision: to believe in yourself.